here at Conversations with Mrs. Fash is some children grow and some children are raised. If I raise my child, my child will be at the mercy of another child who just grew. So what can everyone do to ensure that every child is safe around your child instead of looking for the bully?
There's no such thing as, perfect ideology or perfect parenting context.
Hello, it's such a beautiful day, an orange day, can you tell? Welcome to Conversations with Miss Fash, and of course, I'm your favorite host, Adirunke Fashiru. Thank you for being here. Today we have another beautiful topic. Today we will talk about raising resilient children. It's very different to put in your effort, do everything some of the previous speakers have spoken about. Have a vision board, have your family constitution, put in the work, and you might not have the result, or you might have the result and then you're wondering, why are my children maybe bold but not compassionate? How come I have my children independent but not so resilient? What does it mean to raise resilient children? I like resilient children. I feel resilience is one quality that every adult must adopt. And when would we assume the best time would be to introduce this to them other than now that they are children? And to help us do justice to today's topic, the topic is special, but the guest is a lot more special. Today we have someone from the banking field, a group managing director, the group managing director of Reliance Microfinance Bank, Asset Management. There are a number of them. He's here today to share his experience and to tell us what we need to do as parents if we want to raise resilient children. Welcome with me, Mr. Ola Osabiya. So good to have you on the show. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such a huge honor. You know what it took to bring him all the way. Thank you for being here. I know our listeners have so much to learn from your wealth of experience. You're one man that is doing so much across the shores of Africa, making Nigeria proud. Doing so much. And then I know your children, and I want you to share some of your key ideologies, those ideologies that you've used to shape in your home, and some others that you feel would make children out there better. Remember, here at Conversations with Mrs. Fash, we affirm that parenting is not just a culture/tradition issue. It answers to knowledge. You can only do more if you know more. So I encourage you to make sure you sit tight, don't move from that chair, and savor as much as you can, because trust me, this knowledge is coming to you so that you can use it and you can become a better version of yourself as a parent. So sir, I would like for you to tell us, how would you describe your parenting journey?
Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to be here.
Welcome, sir.
What you are trying to put up is lovable.
Thank you, sir.
And I would like to encourage you to keep doing the good work.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, you started by saying resilient children. When we are talking about resilient children, in quotes, are children that are very upright, are children that seemingly to be focused, and are children that, if given proper guidance, it is expected that they become a capable individuals in the very near future, or as they embark on their journey. Yes, talking about my parenting journey, well, I think basically when we are talking about parent or parenting, is about creating a good future for one's children. Like I always say, whenever I have opportunity to maybe share experience, Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to create your future is to predict the future now. Now, in my journey, my parenting journey, I've had opportunity to come from a very poor background in terms of family background, so to say. And one of the things that also shaped my future is to be determined that, oh, I must make it in life. Now, having gone through those difficult times in the past, one of the things that actually became my watchword is to ensure that my children will not suffer, is to ensure that my children have a better future, is to ensure that my children in their future time, they will look back and say, daddy and mommy has actually been there for them. And that actually, ruminates in my mind in terms of giving a good upbringing for my children. Now in my parenting journey, well, you did mention that you know about my children, that they are doing well, but we give glory to God for that. However, it also involves a kind of high level of management. How do I mean? There are certain things we try to put in place in my parenting journey, in my home, so to say. When, even as a corporate leader, there's something we call work-life balance. And when we are talking about work-life balance, we also talk about one of the key issues or key pillars of work-life balance is your family, your relationship, your family, of how do you manage your family, your home. So, and one of those things is to also ensure that my children too are well taken care of. Certain things, because some of those things is not about a textbook, is going to share experience in terms of this journey. One of those things is to ensure that you stay involved and you engage your children continuously.
Okay.
How do I mean? For instance, what you need to also watch how your children behaves as they grow up in life. So one of those things, oftentimes, I try as much as possible to be closer to them. And equally, I love all of them equally. I don't try to discriminate. Some of those things is very key. So I ensure that I have a balanced love for each of my children. Now, I also try as much as possible to be like a role model to them. How do I mean by becoming a role model? Your attitude, your action, or your inaction, how do you relate with your colleagues? How do you relate with your family members? How do you relate with your wife? How do you relate with your community members? Even the neighbors around. So all those kind of things, I try to ensure that, because I knew that some of these children, they are also watching me as they are growing. So in terms of becoming a good model, I try to exhibit that one for them. I also try to support their education, because it's very key. And one of those things is to set a clear-cut vision in terms of where they want to be. So, especially my daughter, when my daughter was growing up, of course, there was a day I called her that you are now in secondary school, right? No, in your secondary school, who do you want to be associating with? And what I told her then, that whenever you have a test, try as much as possible identify the good students that score 8/10, for instance. Maybe if the maximum mark is 8, 10, for instance, identify some of those students that continuously score good mark and try to be their friends. And she said, okay, daddy. And that actually worked. You don't need to work, you don't need to go out. And what do I mean? I said, okay, you are just coming in as a fresh student. And by the time you will be able to identify some of these people, make friends with them. Oh, when are you going for lunch? When are you going for break? Go out. And that actually worked. At a point, there was a day she came that, daddy, I was start to teach physics today. I said, really? That was when she got to when she got to SS1. I said, well. So these are things, and also try as much as possible to set a clear-cut rules. And what does this rule mean? For me, in those days, whenever their exam is approaching, I don't usually renew my DSTV subscription. Your exam, everybody go and face your study. I set that rules. I try as much as possible to also see what they do whenever they come from school. Check their assignments, check their homework, ensuring that they carry out their homework, they, do their work diligently.
Wow.
The other aspect, parenting journey, is about also value their emotions. Also value their emotion. How are they feeling? Is there anything that is disturbing them? Are there concerns in terms of maybe academic concern or maybe bullying? All those kind of things. I try as much as possible to value their emotion, have discussions with them. Okay. And at the end of the day, you realize that most of their concerns are shared with you, and you'll be able to provide solutions, you'll be able to provide guidance.
Amazing.
This has actually also helped out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So when you were talking, you said something that I want to take you up on. I want to take you up on it before we now go back to our resilience topic.
Thank you.
I feel most of the children that we have now, they are somewhat entitled, and it's because of one statement that I think you made. Some of us went through a lot when growing up, and we had dreams. Some of those dreams became our source of inspiration to ensure that whatever we went through, our children will not go through that path. It's only good because, even the good book says a good man leaves inheritance for his children. It didn't talk about the one that was left for him, but maybe he deciding to leave for his children. But looking at the kind of children we have now, don't you think if we shield them from some experiences that can make them tough and make them resilient, don't you think when you might not be there in the future and life happens, how are they going to respond to it if we shield them so much from some of the hardship of now?
Okay. Yes, good question. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be relating some of those things vis-a-vis the practical experience.
Okay, sir.
Yes. I remember my son, my second child, studied economics at University of Lagos.
Okay.
And there was a day, it rained heavily because of the fact that he was to run another program relating to technology, I think at Aptech. So he was going from home, right? Okay. Just to confirm what you tried to ask. So he came to me, Dad, I want to use your car. Of course. I said, oh, really? I said, okay, you want to go with my car to school? Yes. I said, hey, why? You are not going to use this car. You have to find your way down to that school. There are some other students that have not gotten this opportunity. Of course, he was not happy, but when he came back in the evening, oh, you are back? Yes. I called him to my room. Do you know why I did not give you this car? I want you to be more resilient. I want you to be more focused. You see, by the time you go with this car, I know that school, you begin to have a lot of friends. When are you and it will get to a point when you now begin to feel entitled that, you need to start going. Of course, the car just at home, but I insisted. Another instance, of course, my son, if you go to Caleb today now, Ola Osabiya is in the Hall of Fame. There was a time he came to me, like, Dad, I need to get a phone. I told him no. I told him something that I'm particular about you is to pay your school fees regularly. Of course, you may have friends that have a lot of phones, but you don't need to look at that. It is not how well, it is how far. So it is not about how far, it is about how well. That at the end of the day, by the time you finish from this school, you clear your result, you are now doing well Subsequently, some of these your colleagues that are using iPhone, they will looking up to you that so these are issues. And luckily, I also have a good wife that does not tolerate nonsense. Of course, in spite of the fact that a lot of people, for me, I'm somebody that like to, especially my wife, nieces, nephew, cousin, all these people. But my wife always insists that none of our children must be a lazy type.
I like
so
that.
At home, we have routine activity that you are the one to sweep today, you are the one to wash plate. So she didn't shield any of my children from engaging in some of those things. And that also confirmed the fact that there was a time we went to London to spend a holiday. My daughter was the one that cooked jollof rice for them at home. And my sister came to tell me, Daddy Deola was the one that cooked rice for. I just nod my head. And that underscored the fact that she's been involved while at home. So these are critical issues that in terms of pampering, I don't do that.
Beautiful.
But at the appropriate time, I give them what they want.
Beautiful,
yes.
Beautiful. Because looking at your position as a GMD, I mean, if your child wants to change his phone every week, it won't be tough for you. But that decision it's not like you can't have this, but let's just wait until it's time. I think it's something parents should adopt and understand that showcasing all of these things do not immediately amount to showing that you love them. Because sometimes parents just believe, how will my child understand that I love? Some children even accuse us, but mommy, how would you say you love me when I ask you for this and you don't give it to me? So, but how were you able to convince them and
okay, yes, if, resilient children. Our last daughter, she's at home. Sometimes I said to myself, even discussing with her mom, are we not the one that gave birth to this? However, she can be so inquisitive. She can challenge you. But at the same time, one of those things is to continuously justify, show them reason why you are taking this action. For instance, a few days ago, she was demanding for something. While she was talking, I said, Mama, can you please get out? However, she left my room. Thereafter, I said to myself, I called her. And I told her, this thing you are asking for, it cannot work because of this, that. Oh, okay, Daddy, I understand. I said, so you be pestering me. I'll be telling you, okay, I hear, but you came again when I was even receiving call. And she apologized. Okay, Daddy, I'm sorry. I said, okay. And I hugged her. You are my baby, baby of the house. And she was happy. So sometimes it's ability not to just, they have their own life to live. They have their own, emotions. So your ability to justify why this reason this action is being taken. And I think sometimes it worked.
Beautiful.
It works.
So I love the fact that you said it earlier and you just showed us a practical example from the last one you said, that parents must value the emotions of their children.
Absolutely.
Don't shelve everything down their throat and don't expect that they must understand that this is how it should be, or don't even tell them as you grow up, you understand why I'm doing this for you. There has to be some kind of mild justification whenever there is a no.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, let's also flip it. Let's flip what you have said. Okay. So I one time knew an adult who was unhappy. He was unhappy with his boss. And because he was unhappy with his boss, he didn't go back to that office. Now, I'm talking about some 2 years ago, someone who was about 27 years. Okay. What happened? He had an argument. He felt he was wrongly treated. And he said to me, Mrs. Fash, I'm not going back to that office. And truly, he didn't go back. Now, I know when this goes out, some of the Gen Zs might come for us. Because I even believe it's a myth to assume that certain generations act in certain ways, just that the patterns seem to be alike. Now, he said he wasn't going back to work because of the argument. He wasn't asked to stop. and told himself that, you know what, I'm going to stay in this house until I get a job where I'll be well respected. Now, do you think that's a self-esteem issue, or do you think that's a lack of resilience, or do you think that is just being spoilt, being pampered? Which of the options would you use to describe this boy's attitude? I'll tell you what I would have preferred he did, but what do you think about it?
Well, I can say, self-esteem sometimes is also dependent on, can I use the word upbringing?
Okay.
What do I mean by that? If you are a parent, you will be able to consistently engage your child
Yes, sir.
about the need for you to persevere in the face of adversity, and at the same time, you will also be able to also explain the need for somebody to maintain his or her self-esteem. All those things. But at the same time, I would have loved to know why the person, the reason or the action taken against him.
He just didn't like the way he was spoken to. He was spoken to in a harsh manner. He was accused of something. It had to do with punctuality. So you know this, you did this, you didn't do it. Yes, the boss spoke to him, because when he narrated the incident to me, I realized that the boss was in the wrong. But I also didn't think it was enough to say he wasn't going back.
Okay, so that speaks to that underscores the fact that I'm talking about your ability to persevere,
yes,
in the face of adversity or in the face of any difficulties. And at the same time, I wouldn't want to accuse the parents of that person. Probably it's somebody that maybe while growing up is been pampered, so to say. And some of those things also shape the decision of some of our Gen Zs. How do I mean this? That unlike some of us that growing up in a very, how do I put it, through difficult times, in a very difficult
that
way
we
to
learned
survive.
the hard way.
So yes, that is what is common among some of our youth these days. And someone I was somewhere attending a seminar, and the consultant was talking about children of around maybe 20 to 26. I don't want to extend it to maybe say 30, 20 to 26. He said most of these children, their father are still working. Their mother are still working. So any little discomfort, they will just tell you that they are not going to that work because they have someone that they want to fall back. So to me, that was why I said maybe self-esteem or inability to.
So you strongly disapprove of that behavior?
I strongly disapprove.
Because I just wondered. I said you can live on your own terms, but you don't let go of something for nothing.
Yeah.
That's a harsh or a hasty decision.
For
and
you
that
to
just
take.
means you haven't learned what it means to be resilient.
To be resilient and to be
regards
responsible.
your self-esteem. But thank you
very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, that we've come to the end of this beautiful talk. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have. So many nuggets that Mr. Osabiya has shared. You need to watch this over and over again, because just like you have said, I mean, who wants to wake up to see that your child that was well raised is at the mercy of a child who just grew? That's not something we pray would happen. But thank you for following till this time. We hope you have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful one. Thank you.